What's up, friends, and welcome into Studio Day Heffrey and Studio Day Broaddus for another edition of Trust the Tape.
My name is Jeff.
My name is indeed Jeff, and his name is indeed Brian.
Hey, Bri.
Hey, Bryan Broaddus, how are you this morning, my friend?
Excellent, Jeffrey. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. You know what you have to do today. As soon as we're done, you know what you have to do.
Got to
right?
watch Jaire Alexander tape, and I've already put out about four. Four text messages today. See if we could get any closer. My gut feeling is they probably wouldn't do anything with Jaire Alexander. That's just my gut feeling, but you never know.
Don't you take away my fun on a Monday. Don't you take away my fun on a Monday.
I'm just trying to ruin the show into the first 40 seconds of it. How about that?
I know, I appreciate it, but I'm with this guy, Hammer UK 21, who says afternoon, which means he is definitely in the UK because it is not afternoon for us. Mm-hmm. People want Alexander just to fight with Pickens. Yeah, I'm pretty much signed up this year for chaos. I'm Team Chaos. I want them to wait for Jalen Ramsey to get cut, sign him, sign Jaire Alexander, and just see what happens in practice every day on the days when Jaire Alexander actually practices, because he plays 7 games a year. That's his bit the last 2 years. I think his games played has gone 4, 16, 7, 7. And I figure between Diggs on one leg, Jaire Alexander playing every other week, Jalen Ramsey being old, all I need is all of them. And then each week I'll have somebody who could go play corner. Team Chaos is Jeff this year. You already brought in Pickens. Go all the way. Let's have some fun. Bring me Jaire Alexander.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I kind of have that feeling that that it's, it's one of those things where you ask the question, and I'm gonna get an idea in those 7 games how Jaire Alexander's going to play. And then it's going to be, well, yeah, man, he'd be an upgrade over what you're playing with, that. And then they're going to like, nah, man, we're not going to do that kind of thing. So I know. I've seen how this musical ends. I know the ending of this one. It's do a lot of work, and then at the end of it, take a bow, and really nothing happens from it at the end.
Yeah, and Ken has a great point. We don't need Jaire Alexander. We have Andrew Booth. What's weird, what's odd to me, Cowboys still have like 30 million in cap space. If you don't watch the DLLS podcast, I can tell you that the scoop from Clarence Hill is the Cowboys like to have about 20 to 21 million in their slush fund for their just in case money. So you may think they have 32. Know that they really have 10 to 12 because they want to keep 20 in slush.
Clarence is exactly right. Yep.
Yeah, buddy. What's really weird to me is the Cowboys are in an incredibly strange place at corner. If you told me that magically everybody was healthy, they're good at corner and plenty good at corner. But because they're not good at corner. But I also think they're not going to add at corner, at least not anything that matters, because they assume that they're going to be good at corner later. But I don't want to be good later. I want to be good today, and we'll figure it out when people get back. I've watched you guys have a history of assuming that as soon as a guy is cleared from his knee surgery, like, yes, you may football now, that they're like, yep, here he is. He's going to be great. And that is not how it goes. So if you're thinking, yeah, Trayvon Diggs, he's going to be ready to go in week 5. Right. You're going to put him in pads in week 5. You think he's going to be good in week 5? You guys are real optimistic, and I don't like optimism. It's a bad – hope is not a plan, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not. And so, but people are not going to want to hear this. I felt like there would be some possibility with June 1 stuff. We really haven't seen that materialize. We're getting to the point where after this week, teams go on vacation, so you won't see anybody at these facilities for about a month. So it'll be really hard to do.
Player acquisitions 365 days a year, hot dog bun,
No, it's really not that. You go away and you try and disconnect yourself from it. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised though if there was some UFL stuff that they were able to do. Is that the United Football League? I think I got that right.
The XFL, USFL, UFL. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the UFL. I think they might be on some players. I'm trying to kind of figure out what positions they might be looking at corners there, something like that. But they've had some decent success, monitoring that league and then grabbing a couple of players. You got your kicker, and you got one of the best returners in the league, from that league. So I was kind of hearing some whispers. I just got to figure out what positions they're doing. If my gang of 7, I'm trying to talk to them like, hey man, you hear anything about the Cowboys? Well, no, man, I didn't hear anything about the Cowboys in this UFL stuff. So maybe somebody will help me on that. And by the time we meet back, we can talk about that again.
Kona, D tackle,
running
back, but I think they're just going to roll with what they got at running back.
I was on I got tagged in a podcast.
Good.
I think the gentleman, he might be listening. I don't know the gentleman's name, and I tried to find his name. Let's Talk Cowboys.
I believe you. I believe you.
A guy named Let's Talk Cowboys, and he actually agreed with me about my point with defensive tackle play. It's just not all Mozzie Smith. It's about the run defenses. With over 60% of the time, teams have had success running the ball on the edges. It's not always about your defensive tackles. We always talk about that kind of being the low-hanging fruit right now. But I appreciate the gentleman. He said, hey, made some good points, had some clips. This is the first time. The only thing that happened, Jeff, though, spell my name Brian.
See?
Gosh,
everybody who's trying to deflect from the defensive tackle depth chart that you're recruiting to your side in this non-debate fight is it has the IQ of not spelling your name right. That's the team you're on right now.
No, man. I appreciate the guy. I think it's called Let's Talk Cowboys. I think that's what it is. I watched the show while I was this morning before we came on with you. I'm like, hey, I appreciate the guy. Like, he was very positive, and I looked at it and watched it, and it's a nice show. But yeah, he just spelled my name wrong. I'm like, oh man, please don't do that to me. I make a good point. You say I make a good point and spell my name wrong. But anyway, no, it's my pet peeve. But the thing that, like I said, with the Cowboys, I like the UFL stuff. You mentioned defensive tackle, cornerback. I don't know. I mean, I think they might be in the cornerback market. I just don't think they're in the Jaire Alexander market.
If they are, because this is one of the things that really weirds me out, because it is the year of our Lord 2025, and in the year of our Lord 2025, like, good cornerback play can be challenging to find.
It can be very.
And we are currently sitting in a world where Stephon Gilmore is hanging out, waiting for somebody to call him. Rasul Douglas is hanging out, waiting for somebody to call him. Jalen Ramsey's trying to get out of where he is. Jaire Alexander's about to hit the streets. If you want a slot guy, Mike Hilton is still a free agent. Asante Samuel, once everybody looks at his neck in July or whatever, is available. It seems unique to me that there are so many guys that can upgrade a lot of different teams just available, just hanging out. And so I guess if you're the Cowboys, maybe you view it as, look, we could wait until July, see what happens, and we can be further down the road with our rehab guys and see how we feel about that.
Jeffrey, with all the names that you mentioned, and this is probably a terrible question for you because you probably haven't had the time to look at all the guys you mentioned.
Come on, hit me with anything.
Gilmore or the guys that you mentioned? But see, the thing about Gilmore, did Gilmore play for Flus in Indy? He might have.
Maybe.
I think he had. I think there's some crossover there too.
I mean, the thing about Gilmore is that I also feel like he may be the most realistic just because
I know him.
I know my Cowboys. Yes, they know him. And I don't think he'll make as much money as guys who are either way younger or also somewhat older. Well, no, only Ramsey's anywhere near him in age, and he's not that close. Guy kind of at the end feels like the most likely for the Cowboys, especially considering, and maybe this makes it less likely, that my understanding is that Stephon Gilmore wanted to play for the Cowboys last year, and they basically were like, nah, we're good. Yeah. And so he had to go play somewhere else, and that he was hanging out in the dang facility a few weeks ago, just cruising around, just putting around. Stephon Gilmore wants to be a Cowboy, so I feel like he's the most likely one and probably the riskiest because 34-year-old corner, they don't tend to age well.
Do I need to watch this Kendall Fuller?
Sure. I think you should go watch everybody. I like making Brian do all of the work. Let's see.
Okay. Send me a list of who I need to watch.
Yeah.
I'll start watching them.
Every single person that plays corner that Brian needs to watch, you guys hit him up.
Yeah.
What did Fuller play? He played 11 games for Miami last year. Plays both sides.
I'll write him down.
Sure.
I keep seeing his name. I keep seeing Kendall Fuller. Maybe I need to take a peek at him after Kendall Fuller. You said Miami is where
Kendall
he was
Fuller
at?
was in Miami last year. Yeah, he got released.
Okay.
And here's your AI overview. Check this out. This is great. Kendall Fuller, a veteran cornerback, was a free agent.
You got to read in this voice. Yeah.
In the 2025 NFL season. He was released by the Miami Dolphins on February 14, 2025. After the release, Fuller was a potential target for several teams, including the Dallas Cowboys. So even AI knows to throw the Cowboys name in the mix.
Got to get that. Got to get those clicks.
That is absolutely wild. We're going to be looking for a corner. Mandatory mini camp starts tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mike, you going to be there?
Yes, he will.
You going to be there spectating and being a good friend to everybody?
I think he should be a good friend to everybody. Yeah, probably so.
And not get on the field, and Jerry's going to fiddle fart around. Will Micah Parsons be signed before the 5th practice of training camp?
Are you expecting a holdout?
I expect he'll be at training camp and he will do absolutely nothing.
You think he'll be a sideline? I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up so I don't get fined, guy.
Well, I think with Micah, I think he has.
I don't think Micah wants to lose like $50,000 a day.
I think money, but I also think that Micah is so online and watches all the shows and listens to all the things and really wants to be considered like I'm doing things right and I'm a leader and there's nothing negative you can say about me. So I think he's been playing the PR game with Jerry this whole way and he's been winning. And I think he views the way to win it would be, I'll be at camp, but I won't be on the field. And if you ask me about it, I'll say, I want to be here with my guys. I want to lead these guys. But this contract, that's up to that guy. I wanted to sign it. I wanted to sign it a long time ago. I don't know what that guy's doing. He won't use his phone. He won't talk to my agent. I think Micah knows that he's in a PR battle against the Joneses when it's contract time. And he's one of the first Cowboys that got way out in front of it, and he's winning.
Well, he's going to win this negotiation too.
Okay.
He's going to win it because ultimately what will happen is that now the Cowboys could tag him. They could tag him.
Sure.
And then, now you're in that situation. But I kind of feel like, to me, and I've said this on a couple of different platforms, I think Stephen Jones is very frustrated. And the Cowboys could have got ahead of this. They absolutely could have got ahead of this. Not washing my hands of the Cowboys situation. But I think Stephen Jones was willing to pay this guy at like 38 million. And maybe he should have tried to do that before the Crosby contract became available. And then our guy out there,
maybe he should have called the agent.
Well, I think this is a two-way street. Why, if you're David Mulugheta, do you even want to call the Cowboys?
You don't have to.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to.
You're going to get $40 million. He just why negotiate with Stephen Jones? Why? You don't have to, because the Cowboys have proven. I think you and I have had this discussion before.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are in a situation where they're up against it. They're painted into a corner once again. They're painted into a corner because, again, you didn't get stuff done earlier. That's their fault. Maybe you should have got ahead of this and said, what do you think about 37.5? I don't know.
That doesn't work. Okay. How about 38? 38 and a half. 38. Stop me when we have a deal.
But that's kind of where I'm saying. But David Mulugheta and agents around the National Football League that have high-profile clients with the Cowboys, no reason to call. Just wait till the very last minute, and eventually what will happen is the Cowboys have yet to proven that they'll walk away from a player.
Yeah, not the great ones. Not the ones
they could have changed potentially the direction of the franchise. And I'm just using this as an example because it's the highest contract they have. They could have walked away from Dak.
Sure.
And that might have changed the direction of what they were going to do. But to me, if I'm an agent and I have a high profile player, and I also have a problem with Bland, who's also looking at Diggs, who's like, really? You don't think I'm better than him?
You guys don't even like him.
Yeah. I mean, you gave him what? and you're trying to give this to me. I'm showing up, coming back from a foot injury, doing this, doing that. I play when you ask me. See, they have some issues. They have some issues there that they're going to have to deal with. But to me, if I'm David Mulugheta, no reason to call the Joneses.
Yeah, no. I just
and I think this is why Stephen Jones is frustrated, because but it's self-inflicted. I'm not washing my hands again of what the Cowboys have done or how they do their contracts. I'm just saying, I think Stephen Jones really wants to negotiate with this guy, but David Mulugheta is doing the smart thing. He's trying to get this thing north of $40 million, and he's probably going to get it done.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I just think that once it's been established that that's how you operate, then this is you've put yourself in a spot where you're going to lose every negotiation, because you have established this is what we do. We wait too long, and if you keep waiting, we will
we'll suffer.
Bend over. You will win. What do you want? You got
That's what I'm saying. Goes back to Zeke, Dak, Martin, Lamb.
Yeah.
Just to take your. They didn't want to extend Zach Martin. Hell, if they only knew they were going to get, if Zach Martin was going to retire, they probably would have fought that one even more.
Yeah.
But
it's our cavemen, baby. It's our cavemen.
They've created an approach that if you're a high profile player on their team, if you just wait them out, they will come to the table, and ultimately you get what you want out of the deal.
Jotmon is in the super chat. If Steven wanted to pay like 37.5, he should have done that last year instead of letting the price go up. I hate the way they do
exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And you should have tried to stay ahead of, let's go. Let's be honest.
Myles Garrett didn't want to do anything. He wanted to be traded. He didn't want to be there. And you had, so now you waited until a team had to literally money whip a man into not caring that he doesn't even want to be here. And now you have to beat that price. And that price was paid to make a guy pretend that he doesn't mind living in Cleveland. You don't want to be there. And and it was like, right, but there is a dollar amount that I will say I want to be here. And you let that get done. Oh, it's gross.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gross.
No, see, that's what I'm saying, though. The Myles Garrett one came like out of nowhere. That was going down the path of bad. Yeah. And all of a sudden, somebody grabbed the wheel, and next, Myles Garrett's like, love being a Cleveland Brown for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I love it here.
What about winning? What about winning? What about, no.
I used to care about winning, but then you said 40 a year. This Chris Broussard's burner account. What are your thoughts on Get Up on ESPN? I don't know which one that is. Which one's Get Up?
Get Up is the
Greenberg.
That's Mike. Yeah, it's Greenberg. Yeah.
I think Greenberg's fine, but if they ever bring on the guys who don't watch anything or know anything and just yell stuff,
I'll tell you what I would do if I was one of these national media types. Man, I would know every single thing about the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that would be the one team that I would just focus my entire attention on.
But that's because you're different. That's because you're different.
But I'm saying, though, it seems to be these shows are built on the Cowboy Laker kind of models. But
they've got it down to where they can pretend they know while knowing nothing.
This is why David Hellman. This is why David Hellman was great on that show, Stand Up or whatever the show was. Yeah. And he was fighting Shady McCoy and those guys.
Yeah.
Because he knew the Dallas Cowboys forwards and backwards. Yeah. And it made those other guys look foolish.
And he was nice enough not to say you're a dumbass and you've never watched a sport since the day you retired, which was nice of Dave.
Exactly. So to me, if I'm one of these people that are on these shows, I would know everything about this football team, everything about it. That way, when you come on, you don't sound like a dumbass, which a lot of these guys do.
They don't mind. They don't mind.
Yeah.
Well, the most embarrassing one I've ever seen was Shady McCoy, and he never even had to mention it or care. He didn't care. Like they made a whole bit out of it when Dave called him out Mike Leslie called him out. He's like, they're not even out here. They have no idea what they're talking about. And they're like, yay, great marketing opportunity. We're coming down, boys. And so Acho and Shady come to practice. Shady stands over there and talks to a former teammate or something for 7 minutes, goes and has a snack, goes back up. They do a show the next day. And Shady McCoy says, I will say this, Tony Pollard looked good at practice. Tony Pollard wasn't at practice. He was off having a child. Yeah. So the one observation you had from the one day you did show up was totally made up because the guy wasn't even there. Like they just, it's so gross.
Oh no, that's the thing I think frustrates Cowboy fans in general when you watch these shows is that the people who are paid to talk about the team really don't know about the team. You know,
that is where Crown Global Media is going to get you squared away.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? Keep an eye on what Broaddus got going on over there. Keep an eye on what's being built over there. Okay. You want to know what's actually going on with your team? Keep an eye out. All right. It's on the way.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate it.
Brian fixes the drywall and puts in a couple of microphones and a touch screen.
Bob the Builder here is what I'm at now. I'm the Bob write the check guy is what I am right now.
All right, Brian, are you ready for my next reason for optimism on Tyler Guyton?
Go for it.
I saw him with Tyron Smith.
Yeah, how about that?
I got Guyton. New diet, new habits, hour of yoga every night, working with Tyron Smith. What if my guy's maturing before our eye? Why am I calling him my guy when I didn't like the draft pick and I talked a lot about him all last year? Well, he wasn't very good. Words will not bring me hope very often, but there's one player where I'm like, okay, everything that I see or hear about you from this offseason, accountability for bad play last year, check. Evidence of real habits in life changing, check.
Can I break news?
Yeah, what do you got?
I asked this question.
Okay.
Remember I was talking about earlier? I assume we're not in the cornerback business at this moment. Price look likely ridiculous. Correct.
Just correct. So correct. Prices are too high for the Cowboys. They don't dance in those seas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you just drop money? Did you just drop money with what did you just drop?
No, I fiddle with things while I do things. And so I found sitting
the keys.
No, what was sitting on the desk was like the toenail clippers.
Oh,
and then somehow I broke it.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I dropped one part of it.
Yeah. That's a nice sound. It's not like coins hitting the table. Yeah, I asked about Jaire Alexander, and I said, assume we're not in the cornerback business at the moment, and price likely ridiculous, and I got the answer of correct.
All right, Alec. Listen here, you guys can pretend it's not a big deal if you want to. Jeff heard him say he's dieting and flipped immediately. I haven't flipped, but that's a thing that gives me hope. Yes. If you want. Because most guys just don't do that. Most guys.
If he gave up alcohol, Jeff would be totally out on him. Then is what he.
No, if he gave up on alcohol, I would take him very seriously. Because I know that at the age of 41, I need to, and I have not. So I spend my life talking about all these guys that are all doing better than I am at giving things up that they need to give up. And so I just get to talk about other people.
Man, no, hey, I hope that it does translate into better play. And I think, Jeff, you've taught me this when you go through struggles in your life and you got to be able to admit, you got to look at yourself and reflect on that and stuff. And I think he did that. I think he took this past offseason, reflected how things ended for him or how they went last year, not how it ended, but how things went. If they could get him to play just at a good level, what an advantage! What an advantage! It changes everything.
I think he is the most important non-Dak on that offense because of the position he plays and the fact that we don't know what we're going to get. Obviously, CD is a better player, but because I have no idea what we're getting at left tackle, and I don't think the team does either. He is or I guess the answer to can Tyler Guyton play is the most important question that will be answered this season in terms of determining, are you competing to win 11 or 12 or are you competing to win 7 or 8? I think can Tyler Guyton play is a big part of that. Sean's in the super chat. I bet you somehow the Eagles will be in the running for Alexander. They like to sign players, cut players, do
I'll
things.
tell you what, man, the 2 rookies that they added last year completely. Well, you look at also too, changing the defensive coordinator really helped. But you look at what those 2 rookies did as cornerbacks for them last year. Wow. What a difference that defense made. They were 10-1, I believe, and then kind of went south, got beat in the playoffs, and it just went out and got those kids, and they played at a very, very high level. So I would be.
I got to put back together, by the way. Look at that.
Good for you.
I'm a fixer. I fix stuff. Cody's in super chat. Miles Sanders leads the team in rush touchdowns. Hot dog or the bun?
Now this is a hot dog bun.
I think it's a hot dog too.
Does Miles Sanders make the team?
Well, if you listen to media reports from what we've seen, he seems to be the one guy that you notice more at practice than, say, the others. And the word I've heard is juice.
I love me some juice.
I do too. But it seems to be people who watch the practice, your colleague like a Clarence Hill and others, Joe, I think, is out there as well. I mean, they're talking about juice and with Sanders. Be interested to see if that translates. I'd love to see these backs all working at training camp and then getting time in the preseason, kind of figure this thing out the best we can. I had my doubts about Miles Sanders, but I'd love for the one I feel great about is Blue. That's the one I do feel the absolute best about. Everybody else, please prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong.
Do they have Jaden Blue out there doing the bit that you do in like high school football when you fumble, where you just have to carry a football at all times?
Yeah, you're like
walk around the whole facility.
Walking. He's having lunch there at the Star. He's got this football in his arm. He's eating his French onion soup.
Nick Chubb is headed to the Texans. Is Nick Chubb? You think Nick Chubb's going to be better than the guys we got?
Probably so.
No, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. He's more hurt. I don't know if he's Houston get back to anything like he was.
Houston went out and got our guy Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon was all right, right?
Yeah, he kept going.
Houston might have the secret sauce, some veteran running backs here.
Maybe, yeah. Houston's just picking all the veteran running backs that Jeff wants you to pick up, and we're picking up guys who are cheap. I'm sure Nick Chubb is super cheap. I have no idea if he's going to get back to who he was. And I guess I get it that there comes a point where it's like, no, we already signed multiple older guys that we're hoping to have a bounce back. Like, why do we need a 7th one?
Did you hire the question is, did you sign the wrong one? That's the question.
Right. Yeah. Like, I think I would feel better if it were like they brought back Rico, signed Nick Chubb, and drafted Jaden Blue.
There you go. Now you're player personnel guy. There you go.
Yeah, now we might be cooking a little something, but I'll just hope to be wrong. That'll be my top of the list of hope I'm wrong, is that one of the 2 veteran running backs still has some NFL starter quality to him. I have my doubts, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore, Asante Samuel, any of these guys, do you think before we get to training camp, they'll actually do something at corner?
Like I said, I kind of in that mode of, I know some people on the chat asked me about younger corners. Is there somebody in this UFL? Is it Gilmore? Is it Kendall Fuller? Is it, I mean, I haven't seen anybody. I've tried to kind of keep an eye. I'm going to take a peek at Fuller. I'm just going to look at Alexander because I want to know. I know my guys on the afternoon show are going to ask me about him, so I want to know about him a little bit. So, I'm going to take a peek, see what we got.
All right. Kicking button, taking names.
Hey, Brian.
Thanks for hanging out, Brian. It's always good to see you. Lovely to talk with you on Trust the Tape. It is.
Jeff, I won't see you on Thursday. Unless you want to do something on Wednesday. That would be fine for me.
What the hell, bro?
Our buddy Jack Burzett's getting married in South Carolina.
Oh, wow. He found somebody that likes him?
Found somebody that likes him. So he's getting married in South Carolina on Friday. So I'll be out Thursday and Friday. So if you want to get together,
we'll do something Wednesday.
Wednesday, I'd love it.
Yeah, we'll do a Wednesday.
Maybe we'll have some more things to talk about. How about
that? Yeah. They're gonna they'll have the first day of whatever in the books. We'll have stuff.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the DLS Cowboys podcast at 11 o'clock. Brian will see you on G-Bag from 2 to 7, and then everywhere else at all times is where he's going to see you. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.